My dear learners and respectable viewers, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to our online class once again. Our today's topic is changing voice of interrogative sentence. So for this, we have to know what is an interrogative sentence. The sentence which generally asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. So we know that interrogative sentences are of two types. Type 1, yes, no type, and type 2, WH type. So for yes, no type, we know that it starts with an auxiliary or modal verb. Like do, does, did, am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, shall, will, can, could, may, should, would, etc. Okay. And for WH type, it starts with WH words like who, whom, whose, which, what, where, when, why, how, etc. Okay. So yes, no type of question can be answered with yes or no. Example, if we say, is she reading a book? So it starts with auxiliary is and ends with a question mark. So this is an interrogative sentence. So here, if we say yes, then the answer is correct. And if we say no, then it is also correct. So this type of question can be answered with yes or no. And WH type of question can't be answered with yes or no. Rather, you have to answer it in detail. Here is an example. What do you want? So you cannot say yes or no for this question. So you have to answer it in detail. I want something or I want dash. Okay. So in this way, we will be able to identify yes, no type and WH type. So now we will see how we can change voice of yes, no type questions. These sentences are yes, no types of interrogative sentences. Okay. So let's read those sentences. Do you play badminton? Are you writing a letter? Have they done the work? Did they solve the problem? Was she teaching the boy? Had he finished the work? Will you do it? Can you play the piano? These all are yes, no type of interrogative sentences. Because you can answer these sentences with yes or no. Okay, like do you play badminton? You can say yes or you can say no as well. Okay, so these are yes, no types of question. So now we will change this active voice into passive one. Okay, so you know the rules are almost same with certain changes. Okay, now, those changes are actually you have to put the auxiliary verb just before the subject here, and you have to put a question mark at the end of the sentence. That's all. So let's see how can we change the voice of these sentences. Okay, let's start with the first one. Okay, do you play badminton? So here badminton is the object, so object becomes subject, so you can say badminton, badminton. Okay, so for badminton, which auxiliary can we use? Okay, so for this you have to know the given sentence is in which tense. You know, do you play badminton? So the given sentence is in present indefinite tense. So for present indefinite tense, we get auxiliary am, is, are. As badminton is third person singular number, we have to bring is here. So is badminton, and the verb is play. So is badminton, we know in passive voice we have to write the third form of verb. Is badminton played? So is badminton played? And then by you. By you. And you have to put a question mark at the end. So is badminton played by you? As simple as that. Okay. So if you don't have that good control over tense, then you have to know if you get do or does, or do or does, for do or does, you have to use am or is or are. That's it. So am is depends on the number and person of subject, you know. So badminton is the third person singular number, and that is why we use is here. So is badminton played by you? As easy as that. Okay. So let's move forward. Are you writing a letter? So are you writing a letter? It is in present continuous tense. Okay. So for this, what we have to do? We have to find out the object, a letter. So we have to write it, a letter. Sorry. We start with small, a letter. Okay. For letter, we can use auxiliary verb is. Okay. Is a letter being. And the past participle form of write is written. Written. Is a letter being written, and then by, you know, subject you. Okay. And then you have to put a question mark. So are you writing a letter? Is a letter being written by you? Simple as that. Have they done the work? So what can you say here? The work. You know, object becomes subject, so the work. And as it is in present perfect tense, we have to use has or have plus been. So we have to use has or have before the subject and been after it. Okay. So we can say has. Because work is third person singular number, is counted as singular. So has the work been? Has the work been done? Okay. And then we have subject here, they. So by them. You know, the objective form of they is them. So we have written them. So the correct passive is has the work been done by them. Okay. So has and have depends on the number and person of subject. If it is plural, then we have to use have. Plural, like you can say we have, you have, they have, and of course I have. So before I, we also use have, though it is a singular. Okay. But has is used only for the third person singular number that has been written here, because the work is third person singular, and that is why we use has here. Okay. So that's it. And then the number 4, did they solve the problem? So the sentence or the interrogative sentence is in past indefinite tense. So for this we have to bring, you know, for past indefinite tense we use was or were. Okay. So first the object become subject, the problem. Problem. And for the problem, we have to use was, because it is singular form. Okay, third person singular. So was the problem, and then the third form of verb, solve. past participle form. Okay, so was the problem solved and then by them, because we have they here. Okay, so was the problem solved by them? So in this way we can change an active interrogative sentence into a passive one, as easy as that. For past continuous tense, what's it teaching the boy? You know, for past continuous tense, what auxiliary do we use? We use was or were, and for ing we use been. So we use was, were first, and then subject, and then being. Okay, and then the past participle form of the given verb. Okay, so the boy is the subject. The boy. As it is third person singular number, we have to use was here. Okay, was. So was the boy, and then being. Was the boy being, and then we have to use the third form of verbs. The verb is teaching, so the third form is taught. Was the boy being taught by her? Okay, was the boy being taught by her? So in this way we can change an active interrogative sentence into a passive one. Okay, so had he finished the work? Here we can see this sentence is in actually past perfect tense. Okay, so for past perfect we know that had is used as auxiliary and we have to use been after the subject. Okay, so the form will be, okay, first write down the subject. Object of actually object becomes subject, so we have to write the work first, the work. And what we need to do, we have to use an auxiliary. So the auxiliary is had. The had the work, and then been. Passive we use been. So the had the work, been, and then the third form verb as it is there. So had the work been finished? Had the work been finished? And finally, what we have to do? By, and then the objective form of subject, by him. And at last, or at the end, we have to use a question mark. So the correct passive voice is had the work been finished by him. Had the work been finished by him. That's it. Okay, I better wrap it off now. Okay, so will you do it? You know, it is in future indefinite tense. Okay, so for this, what we need to do, we have to bring the object in subjective form. Okay, so what will you do it? So it, the object becomes subject, it, and we know, you know that for modal auxiliary or shall, will, like that. Okay, will, shall, can, could, be, for all this we need to bring the auxiliary first. Okay, will, it, and then what we have to do, we have to add be. Will it be, and then the third form of verb. So do becomes done. Will it be done? Okay, and then we have to use by, and then the objective form of subject, you know, you. Finally, question mark. Okay, don't forget to put the question mark at the end. Okay, so will it be done by you? Will you do it? Passive voice. Will it be done by you? As easy as that. Okay, so let's see another one. Can you play the piano? Okay, it starts with a modal. So for modal, you know, we have to use the modal auxiliary first, and then subject, and then be, and then the third form of verb, and then others. Okay, so let's start. Object, the piano. The piano. Okay, the piano, and we have to use modal here. Can the piano, and then we have to use be. Can the piano be, and third form of verb. So the verb is play, so we have to use played. Can the piano be played, and the subject is you, so it becomes by you. And you have to put a question mark at the end. Simple as that. Can the piano be played by you? Hope you got the point. Okay. Okay, now we will see some examples with WH questions. Okay. So for WH questions, the changing voice is the rules are almost same as you have seen in yes no types of question, but there are some certain changes, and those changes are who becomes by whom, and home becomes who. Okay, so let's start with example, then it will be very much clear for you to understand it. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Who taught him English? The first one is who taught him English. The sentence is in past indefinite tense, because after subject we get past indefinite form or past form of verb. So who taught him English? So it will become right like this. So for past indefinite, we use was. Okay, by whom. So for who we write by whom. By whom. And here him becomes the subject. So by whom. So for he we use was. By whom was he. Okay, and then the third form of verb, taught. Sorry. By whom was he taught, and another object English remains here. English. By whom was he taught English? Okay, and then you have to put the question mark. So who taught him English becomes by whom was he taught English. As easy as that. Okay, so we have to keep in mind that who becomes by whom. So we have written by whom here. Okay, and as it is in past indefinite tense, we have to use auxiliary was or were. As the subject is third person singular number, we use was here, and then subject, after that past participle form of verb, and then the rest of the sentences, and finally we have to put the interrogation mark. Okay, so question mark. So that is how we can change an active voice into a passive one. Okay, so let's see the next one. Whom did you call? Okay, so for whom we use who. So who, and then as whom is the object. Okay, so it becomes who, and then we have to use did you call. So who was third form of verb, who was called by the subject you. Subject becomes object. So who was called by you. So who becomes by whom, and whom becomes who. Just keep in mind. Okay, just see that you can now change it easily. Okay, so who was called by you. The passive one is Who was called by you? Whom did you call? It becomes who was called by you. Simple as that. Which camera do you buy? Okay. So which camera do you buy? So it will be which. You know, the other WH question remains same. For only for who it becomes by whom, and whom it becomes who. But other will remain same. So which camera and do you buy? So we can see that it is in present indefinite tense. For present indefinite, you know, the auxiliary will be am, is, are in terms of passive. So which camera, as it is singular, is third form of verb is bought. Which camera is bought, and then by, subject becomes object. Which camera is bought by you? So this is the passive voice of which camera do you buy. Okay, which camera do you buy? It becomes which camera is bought by you. Simple as that. What do you want? For this we have to do first what. What and do you want? So it is in present indefinite tense. For in present indefinite we use am, is. So for what we use what is, and then third form of verb one becomes wanted. What is wanted, and then you becomes by you, and finally the question mark. So what do you want? What is wanted by you? Okay, simple as that. Why did he call you? So why becomes why. Okay, did he call? So it is in past indefinite tense, and for past indefinite we know was or were auxiliary are used. Okay, was or were. So we have to use actually he. So why was, no, that is not why. Ekhane you is the object, so you becomes subject. So why, where, as you here. So why, where, you, and then the third form of call. So call becomes called. Why were you called? Okay, and the subject becomes object. So why were you called by him? Simple as that. And don't forget to put the question mark at the end. Okay, and then how did you prepare it? So how remains same. How. Okay, did you prepare? So it is in past indefinite tense. So for this we have to use was or were. So the object is it. So for it we use was. How was, and then it. So how was it? And third form of prepare. Okay, or past participle form of prepare. How was it prepared? Prepared. So how was it prepared? And then objective form of subject after by. So by you. And then finally the question mark. So how did you prepare it? How was it prepared by you? Simple as that. When have you drawn it? Okay, so when remains same. When remains same. And have you drawn? So this is in present perfect tense. Okay, so for present perfect we use have been or has been. So as it is third person singular number, we have to use had. Okay, when has, and then the subject, and then been. When has it been? Okay, and then the third form of verb drawn. When has it been drawn? And finally by you. And don't forget to put the question mark at the end. So when have you drawn it? When has it been drawn by you? Simple as that. From this class, I can expect these are now will be easy for you to answer in your examination. So keep it up, keep practicing. Thank you for being here with me, and hope you will just be with me in my next classes as well. Okay, till then, goodbye. Thank you so very much.